What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Team Chat Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jerrett Wilson, joined to my right by Rachel Mogan.
What's up?
And to my left by Zachary Parks.
What's up? That's how I ended. That's how I ended the last episode. I know.
Man.
That's how I ended the last episode. I'm gonna do that every time.
Oh, God. Let's hope not. Don't.
It's just going to make for a really unoriginal opening.
Yeah, well,
I don't
no,
know
I'll
if
think
I'm
of new
about
stuff.
that.
That's really what I'm
Yeah, get your
covering
own
up my
ideas.
insecurities
Yes.
about my opening and closing. I have real no good ones.
So before we get into today's show, just to remind you, if you have any questions or comments, please send us an email at teamchatpodcast@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter and send us a tweet there at teamchatpodcast. So, fun thing about today is that a couple episodes ago, you remember Zach asked people to send us
Just begging.
Really? It was a
literally
demand.
begged
Yeah, it was more of a demand.
for people to send us some emails, and guess what? You did.
People actually did it.
Thank you, everyone.
It was a good idea.
It was.
It was a good idea.
Yes, I'm
Made
glad
it
I
a
asked.
priority.
All you have
Good
to do is
job.
ask sometimes. That's
Yeah,
it.
no, just put the feelers out
Yeah.
there. And
Very
and people
aggressively.
build it,
Very
and they will,
aggressively. You're gonna do this for me.
Build it and they will come.
I can count on you, right?
So, because of that, I figured today we would spend some time answering those emails to people because they had some really good questions. And I was originally like, well, should we just send an email? I was like, no, let's do it. Let's do it on the episode. They sent the question. They deserve to have that question read
Right on.
and
That's how
responded
we
to.
do it.
That is how we do it at
That's the
TCP.
kind of people we are.
So the first email question comes from Dylan. He says, hello, Team Chat Podcast team. It's unconscionable that you... Unconscionable, yep, that's how you say that, that you've yet to be emailed. Perhaps we'll have to rectify the situation, said like William Wallace from Braveheart. Yeah, that was a great reference, I thought. So his question is, what game have you never played that you're embarrassed / afraid to admit that you've never played because everyone else has played it? This
That's
one,
a good question, and we almost touched on that in case we missed it. I mean, we did.
Yeah.
We sort of had an episode devoted to that in a way.
in a little bit.
In a little bit. I don't think it was broad. It was more like in our circle. You know
Right.
what I mean?
And for me, the first thing that came to my head, and more because they just released the trailer for it, which was amazing, is I have not played any of the Uncharted games.
You know, that's where my head went to as well.
Because-
I haven't played any of the Uncharted.
What's funny is I've actually played the entire first one.
Really?
Yeah, no,
Of course
I
you
actually
have,
did.
Mogan.
I played it
Of
in a matter
course.
of
Duh.
days, and it was very subpar.
Whoa.
So
Really?
I
Well, I think
Fighting words up there.
Did you
I think
text
I've
us
heard.
that?
I think I've heard that the first one is not as good. The second
see,
one is
that's
where
the
it's
thing.
at.
Yeah.
I've got the second one because like my mom gave me all the games she hated, and they were everything that wasn't Tomb Raider, and I was like, great.
I love
this
that your
is
mom's a
awesome.
gamer.
I know.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Good old
I haven't
mom,
said
and
that
she was like,
before.
"This Nathan Drake guy sucks. You take these games." And I was like, "Thank you, mother."
We've just turned off about 80% of it.
Yeah. They're like, you know
No,
what?
but
They don't like Uncharted. I don't like them.
Haven't gotten to game 2 yet, so we'll see. And I'm really excited for the fourth one.
The fourth
it's coming
one-
out
the
really
trailer-
soon.
the trailer's
that
I didn't
dropped.
see
trailer
the
was
trailer.
killer.
Oh my
you
God.
sent a text out.
No,
Yeah,
it
you were
looks
very
good.
excited.
Oh
It
my
looks good.
Yeah, you were
God.
like, I just need to talk to somebody about this trailer.
I do. I had feelings, and I needed to get those feelings out. It just like granted,
So
and that's for me
emotional.
not having played any of them.
Right.
I haven't played any of them.
powerful stuff.
And this trailer, I was like, holy shit.
Well, then you need a reference point. So I'll give you the first one. You can play it and see how
I have
terrible it
them.
is. You have it and you haven't played
I got the Uncharted collection for PS4.
Oh my God.
But you're
on
just
Christmas.
you're doing so much through your backlog.
Yeah.
You're just trying to catch up.
I'm trying to catch up.
There.
So I'm thinking.
You should skip all that and just play Uncharted. That's what I would do.
I'm thinking that I'm gonna have like a marathon session. Maybe I'm gonna hope to try to get Uncharted 4 when it comes out, but like do like some crazy marathon session
Of all of them?
All of them.
Honestly,
Be
the first
careful.
one, I dragged it out. You could have played that in a day if you really tried.
I know some people have done that, and so I was just like, just to like get through the experience and then be able to experience Uncharted
Yeah.
4 with the rest of the world. I was kind of like, I might do that.
You can also play it on easy mode.
Yeah,
That is
at least,
possible.
at least it
That's not a
catches
bad
you up.
idea
At
if
least
you're
just
trying to blast through it.
Yeah, at least just get the story and hit all those high points and everything.
There's actually even a mode that's just called Explorer mode.
Oh,
Which I was like, oh, I guess if you weren't,
Is it
if
is
your
it
aim
that
really
open
sucked.
of a game? Like you can just explore.
I think it's
I
guided
didn't
open.
try Explorer mode, so I really don't know what it entails. I just know that it was below easy. So it was like Explorer,
Maybe
easy,
there's like
normal,
no
hard.
enemies.
That's
Maybe
what I
you
was
just walk
thinking.
around.
because-
just walk
yeah.
around and find stuff. So yeah, so
Uncharted's one
Uncharted
that
for
would-
me was definitely
for
like
sure.
the number one that popped in my head. I was like,
Yeah.
I am embarrassed to say I have not played this game because it is a travesty that I have not.
Yeah, that popped in my head too. And also Last of Us. I have not played The Last of Us.
Oh my
and
God.
knowing you,
That's another Naughty Dog.
hear-
Oh my God.
And dude, and I cannot believe I've not played this. I really missed out, and I'm debating whether or not I really go back and do it. Is Mass Effect. People
too.
love
I
Mass
I
Effect.
have those too.
Yeah.
I got the trilogy was like
That's
one
for-
day for PS.
Man, I
no,
wish-
it's for Xbox too.
But you only have them for PS. That's what I'm saying. So
yes,
I'll borrow it.
I only have them for the
Yeah.
PlayStation because I bought they had the Mass Effect trilogy for sale at Best Buy for like $12 one day. And I was
Right,
like,
yeah,
yes,
it's
please.
been out for
I'll
a
get that.
while, you know,
and they're coming out with the Andromeda,
Right.
So,
So it'd be
it's the same thing.
It would be nice to catch up, and then you can really experience the last one, which I hear they're amazing. People love the Mass Effect series.
Yep.
So I have not played that. What about you, Mogan?
Yeah,
Anyone
what's
that comes
yours
to mind?
that you're embarrassed? She's probably like, I've played them all.
Yeah.
I'm not
There are no
embarrassed.
games
I've
I've
covered
not
enough
played.
ground in my time as a gamer. I'm not. I don't have. She's
No,
shaking
That
her head
was
like
gonna
yes.
be my answer.
You didn't,
Oh
play,
my
you didn't
God.
play Star Fox.
No, it's not. It's not. It's the question. The question is worded as, what games have you not played that you're embarrassed to say you haven't played?
Right.
And of
Most-
the games that I'm ferociously dedicated to, I have played all of them.
Right.
But
That is
for-
an interesting. That part of the question does change it.
So
a
if it
little
were
bit.
just games you haven't played that you really feel like you should have, honestly, Halo would probably
Yeah.
be top of my list.
That's
because
true.
I love first-person shooters.
Yeah.
So there's no real, like, I remember playing a little tiny bit of the first one way back when it first came out, and we had it for PC. And I was like, this game blows.
Why?
And I don't know. I don't,
Was
I
the
don't
sound off?
I just didn't. I was like 12 maybe,
Yeah.
13,
That's when
and
I was
I was
getting
like,
into it.
nah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
I just turned it off and never went back
Yeah.
to it, and that's the thing. So I look back and I'm like, I probably really would have liked it.
you'll probably
if
get a
I
lot
had really
out of it.
tried.
And luckily for you, they have the Master Chief Collection, which probably has gone down in price, but it has Halo 1, 2, and 3, and 4 on there.
Is that only for Xbox?
What?
Is it only for Xbox or does
Yeah.
it for
Xbox
PlayStation?
only.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Xbox
Halo's
only. See, that's the
expensive.
thing. That's the dilemma that we run into talking with each other. PlayStation, Wii, just
Yeah.
Xbox.
Yeah.
Really?
I gotta get an Xbox.
People will be like, that guy's not a gamer.
We'll see. Like
has one system?
because of that. Whenever I get the Division, I'm getting it for Xbox so that we can play.
So we can play together.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
enjoy that. And I'll get the Division probably no matter what.
Oh,
I
it
mean,
looks
I think it looks
fantastic.
great. Even though some people I've heard on the internet have talked about how they're a little iffy what they played beta-wise that came out. Mm-hmm. But, dude, the gaming community is so...
It's so volatile.
It's so
like
volatile.
there's so
and they are
many
s-
opinions
yeah,
that are just
they're so
crap. They're just
jaded.
wrong.
Yeah, they're just like, this game sucks. And I was
Yeah.
like, whoa, like,
It's
come
like
on.
state your reasoning.
Right,
I
let's
was-
get into
bullet
it a little
points,
bit.
buddy.
Make
very-
a podcast and talk about it. That's what we did.
We wanted to be able to talk shit, but be credible about
Yes,
it.
come on.
No, so I was really sad. I didn't get to play the beta this weekend because I was at a bachelor party, and so I was
That
kind of
sounds fun.
It was
Let's
fun.
talk about that this episode.
It was fun, but still, I was like
that picture where you were like in the hill country or
Yeah.
whatever?
Oh,
and it
yeah,
was
that was a
really
good picture.
pretty.
way out there
Yeah.
by Fredericksburg, Texas.
Did you
and
guys
stuff,
go
just
to
out
like a
of-
day spa? There's
No,
a really
we didn't.
famous
We went
day
to a
spa
brewery and
actually.
stuff.
That's never mind.
Yeah, no, it was a drinking and eat barbecue weekend, so that was
Gotcha.
it was pretty awesome. So next,
Okay, go ahead. I was going to say any other games. Let's just move on though.
yeah,
there is.
we
I'm
don't-
sure.
Yeah. So Kyle writes and gives us that and tells us that when we were in a couple episodes ago too, when we were joking around with like the kick ass and chew bubblegum line, that he says it's actually from a Duke Nukem game, but it's also into what I was referring to, a movie called They Live. And I just didn't know the
Okay,
title. But
gotcha.
that's where that's from.
So I was actually talking like thinking I knew the movie that you were talking about, and I made some references, and I was so wrong.
You were wrong.
Like that was definitely not the movie. Like Neil Patrick Harris is not in They
Yeah,
Live.
no.
Oh, I
that was
remember
the
that
wrong
conversation.
movie.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was like,
no, no,
and
no,
I
no,
said,
no.
yeah.
I really
Not-
thought I had it. I genuinely did, and I
No-
was
no
not even
NPH.
close.
And then he has an idea for a topic or something for an episode that we could do at some point, and who knows? We'll see what comes of it. But he said that basically an episode where we build and come up with a video game.
Oh, yes, that
Go
one.
through
Now,
the-
does he
go
mean
through the
as a
gambit.
group or individually?
I think as a group.
Oh, God.
So as a group, would we devote an episode to that? Like we would just talk about,
Probably.
hey, like
That'd probably be the
what
best
kind of
way, or-
dude, we would like fight. You would have Animal Crossing.
about
I
to
would
say,
do
there's
Halo
no-
6.
It would be difficult.
You
We'll have
would-
to
you
think
would
about it.
do
We'll have
like
to
a
see.
sim game, a simulator. Maybe we combine all those things.
Maybe.
I feel like Animal
Pokemon with
Crossing
assault
and
rifles.
Civilization could go well together.
Maybe.
Because my biggest complaint was that you couldn't customize your castle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think
You're
he
wrong.
agrees. See, the problems have already started.
Yeah. So who knows? We might try to tackle that someday.
That'd be. Hey, I would.
It's a cool
love-
idea.
It's a great idea. I'd love to be able to like create my own game and like even if I can imagine in my head and see it like into fruition, that'd be unbelievable.
that'd be
That's
awesome.
something I just don't have the skills or talent.
Yeah. No. So Antonio writes and says,
Antonio.
"Yes, cheers to weekly Team Chat episodes. The world thanks you," with a cool thumbs up gif of Troy from Community.
Oh, I know that. Yeah.
And he says, "And now to business. What has been the most satisfying ending you have experienced in a game? like hardest final boss, picturesque cinematic scene, etc.
Honestly,
It's tough.
the
That is a
first
tough
one I
one.
think of is actually the ending of Tomb Raider.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
a very strong ending.
Because it's really, since it's made to be like the prequel, and at the end of the game you get her double pistols. I'm sorry, spoiler alert.
I watched that.
talked
I
about
watched
this.
that on YouTube.
Yeah, it's
It's
very,
just
it's a
so
very,
baller.
It's really cool.
It's a very powerful moment,
Especially
It's
if
just-
you've played the whole game.
Especially, and
you
if
know.
you've played the ones in the past, it's just like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a huge
did
moment.
look-
I remember
That's a
that
good
one. I would have to say, and again, I've talked about it's a favorite game, but I'd have to say the ending to Last of Us. Just the emotional and how emotional that game is still being played a lot, so I don't want to give a spoiler.
I was about to say,
about-
don't spoil it.
Yeah, of how it ends is so emotional and raw and just like and gut wrenching and everything. Like it was one of those things. It ended, and I just sat staring at the screen while the credits rolled, like just taking in what I had experienced.
Mm-hmm.
So that one for me would be a really big one. As far as like the God of War series for me has always had really good endings because they always have a really difficult boss.
Nice.
Yeah, see, that's kind of interesting. He mentioned bosses. I was trying to think Zelda. I was trying to think like
I've never felt challenged by a final boss in a
Because you
Legend
play
of
on
Zelda.
easy on
Just
everything.
Legend
No,
of Zelda
there's no
game?
there are no modes for starters. You don't get,
Okay,
you
Jerrett.
just play unless you're like intentionally playing it by not collecting heart tanks.
In case you're playing it wrong,
In case you're playing it wrong.
it's not hard.
that's like Jerrett going the wrong way in Dark Souls. All
It
that
is,
is
it
one of the
is.
funniest things.
Actually, if we're talking about Dark Souls, every boss,
Is
every
terribly
freaking
hard.
boss
That is true.
is an accomplishment in
The
Dark
very
Souls.
first boss you run into when you just start is hard.
Yeah. Halo 3 would have to be the one. I mean, there's got to be other ones. I just can't think of games that I've beaten that I was really blown away by. But Halo 3, just because of the emotional, time and effort that I put into it to have Master Chief, the door close on him. And I thought it was such a great ending because he just said, "Wake me when you need me."
Oh
and
my
it,
God,
And
yeah.
it left open a door, but it was also like, this is a closing of a chapter.
Well,
It's
and you could have easily played the game and been like, oh, this is done. They're done with Halo.
right. Yes. It felt like it. And
I mean, fortunately, they
left
came
there.
back.
I'm glad they did, even though Bungie's no longer at the realms, but still, or the
Helm.
Reigns?
helms.
At the helm.
The reins. Or the helm.
Reigns or the helm.
Both.
Yeah,
Reigns, helms, and
They'll-
helms.
the realms. Just
realms.
combine the two. But no, yeah, I agree. Halo 3 had a very good ending.
It was nice, and they could have botched it.
Yeah.
They easily could have.
It was really well done because, it could have been the close to the series, but it also was just open-ended enough
Yeah.
to leave the hint that
Just
it might
enough.
be coming back. and
Just
it did.
enough.
So alternatively, just real quick, talking about botched endings, which game would you think of that you thought the ending was terrible? Or just a big letdown?
I would go back to the God of War series with God of War Ascension. The last level you have to fight through, which is like you're riding this ascending tower and it keeps getting stopped and you'll fight all these enemies and different enemies and just like waves and I gave up. Like
Really?
I don't give up on games. I never have. But this one it was so much harder than anything else in the game up to that point. Like normally, it's like a progression. The game builds.
Yeah.
I've been going through the game fine. And I wasn't playing it on like a super hard difficulty, I don't think. I was and just it got to this part and like I rage quit playing that.
Wow. So you never really you never saw the end.
No, it was like it's like the thing you beat this and you're at the end,
Right, and
kind
you
of
were
thing.
just like,
and
I can't get through
maybe again I'll pick it up and go to it. I still have the saves and all that. I can go back to it, but that game it killed it for me. It had been a fun game up until that point, and then it just got to this part and it was just ridiculously hard that I couldn't get any farther. And I was just like, I can't right now. I have other things. I'm wasting too much time. I know there was one point I literally spent 2 hours straight just playing that thing and could not get through it. And that just killed it for me.
Was it a bunch of just dying and restarting?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, see, that would kill it.
And it's like there's not a checkpoint in the middle of it, so you just have
that's
to
the
redo the whole
worst.
thing over and over again. It was, it was bad. I got really mad.
I mean, as a whole, I thought Skyrim was fairly underwhelming in a lot of ways, but I thought the ending was pretty underwhelming. If I remember it correctly, destroying Alduin, the evil dragon, and this you're in Valhalla up in with all these people, and it's supposed to be this really epic thing, but it's just
kind of like meh.
It's just kind of like meh, and in line with the rest of the game. It's just not that difficult either. It's just they just set you up in such an easy way, and I guess you could have changed the difficulty such, but I think I was playing on hard and I've made this comparison before, but Oblivion was so much more difficult, and I found it so much more rewarding. So I found a lack of reward in Skyrim. I do remember that being that was it, and I knew it was coming. I was I know, in the back of my head, I was this is not going to be that rewarding for me.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing.
I would
To feel like we were talking about that last for the campaign missions, to really feel like I'm using all my powers here, like everything that I've learned over
to make
the game,
it feel hard.
to make it feel hard and make it feel like I've overcome something, I've learned something new, and like some games cater to people, some games try to force something better out of you, and now that's why I'm getting into something very philosophical here, but I think there's a conversation there.
No, I get what you're saying. Another game for me that I would say that might be a little surprising to people. I kind of was underwhelmed with the final boss of BioShock.
In
two?
the first one?
The first one.
Oh, I don't even remember.
The twist at the end of BioShock. You guys, have you played the first BioShock?
It's been so long.
Yeah, it's been a while. What is it?
So basically, you've been playing
finished
this whole game. BioShock's long enough. People have played BioShock.
It's been a long time.
Talk about the end of BioShock.
The first one, it's been a long time.
So this whole game, you're going through, and you're like, you're being guided by this guy. Cannot remember his name. Atlas, maybe. And
I think that's right.
That
Atlas
sounds
Shrugged?
right. No, not that.
Silly sex. Not that novel.
And he's the one who's like telling you where to go and being like, hey, this is what you got to do. This is where you got to go. This you do all this. And he goes like, would you kindly go do this? Blah blah blah. And the whole time you know that the bad guy is Andrew Ryan, the guy who started Rapture. Mm-hmm. And so you go with that intent that eventually I'm going to face Andrew Ryan. And then you get to where Andrew Ryan is. And then you just like kill him. You like beat him to death with a cane or something, or some shit like that. And he dies. He doesn't even really like fight you. And you're like, wait, what now? And so then it's revealed Atlas is actually the bad guy.
I remember
he
this.
was like Andrew Ryan's competitor in
Rapture.
Rapture.
Oh, I see.
And you had been brainwashed to respond to whenever he would say, "Would you kindly?"
Oh, right. Yeah, would you kindly?
And so that was like a huge like mind trip of just like, what? I've been lied to this whole game.
I forgot.
So that was
about
awesome.
that.
But then I actually fought Atlas and I killed him fairly easily.
Right.
And I was like, I was just like, that was a little underwhelming.
Yeah.
But what saved it for me is that twist.
Mm-hmm.
That twist, I was just like,
enjoyed,
that was awesome.
Right. And those do go a long ways because it's rare for video games that I've played to incorporate such a great twist like that. And I know Braid has a really good one. I've never played Braid.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. I don't know if I should give it away or not because I don't.
Well, we might play it. Don't give it away.
Yeah, I won't give it away because I think it's like kind of part of the whole game.
And that's
but
not
it's
really
got a
that
great
old
twist.
of a game, is it?
No, it's not.
It's a few years old, but yeah, it's not super old. Not as old as BioShock.
5 years.
Oh, is it really 5?
Braid probably.
Yeah,
dude.
probably by this point.
God, I felt like it came out last year.
No, it's a few years old. Okay, so our last email, and this is the thing. So the original plan for this episode was we were going to talk about side quests.
Yes.
It's worked out so well.
We're going to do our top three side quests.
My
side quests.
favorite listener.
Going off of campaign missions from last episode. We thought it'd be a nice kind of 1-2 thing.
But then we got this email from Becca. Hello, Becca.
Hi, Becca.
So she says, well, here you go. People have probably beat me to it, but at least your inbox looks shiny now, huh? And I said, and yes, it does. It's very shiny and pretty to see other people's names in there, other than like Twitter. Which is just saying, hey, discover what's in your network.
Yeah,
it's not
just,
people.
Right, it's just promotional things.
Yeah, a lot of promotional things. We do get some interaction on Twitter. But she says, just wanted to say that I really enjoy your discussions and your podcasts have helped me get through many a night shift here in the UK. Ooh, UK listener.
That's so
International.
cool. That is so cool.
I've always wondered like how our accents sound to people from the UK.
Becca, how do our accents sound?
I know,
probably
right?
Stupid.
I know, that's what I've always assumed. I've always been like, they probably think we're so stupid.
Love talking about video games.
So her question, and what I feel like, and it kind of ties into this, so I was kind of like, I was talking to Zach and Mogan before we got started, that this should probably take over as the topic of today's show, because it has something it goes along with side quests. So my question for you guys is, how do you cope with games that have 1,000,001 side quests? I'm currently playing Xenoblade Chronicles on the 3DS, and I've found myself having to write down the missions just to keep myself up to date and remind myself what to do. Do you do the side missions before the main quests, or wait until after? Keep doing you guys. You're awesome. P.S. Thank you, Mogan, for the Year Walk recommendation.
Nice.
Was a stunning little game.
Oh,
next time it'll
that's
be
so
a
sweet.
longer game, I promise. I'll make a better suggestion next time.
So
That's a great question, though.
So basically what the topic of the show now is going to be is how do we play bigger open world RPG games. It's not going to be a top 3 list necessarily, just more of an open discussion, because that's a good question. Everybody plays them differently.
Right. Well, it's like how you eat dinner. Do you eat, one meal at a time,
Everything
or do you
separated.
kind of move around?
Nothing touches the other.
No,
speaks-
see,
it
I
speaks
agree.
volumes.
You got to keep them separated.
I agree with that as well.
Some
but
things,
sometimes
I will make the
steak and
exception.
peas go well together.
No,
Maybe
no, they don't.
No, steak and mashed
Zach-
potatoes.
Zach, shut up. Maybe the main quest and side quests might have something to do with each other. Who knows?
They're like potatoes and gravy.
Yeah, you might need both, and especially in Fallout 4, I've done side quests that pertain to the main quest.
I mean, I would always-
the lines are getting a little blurry in some of these games. I'm thinking about.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would always classify a good side quest as tying into the main game in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
Like a
Yeah.
lot of side quests are meant to just be fun little things that you can do on the side, almost like I know of some that are just basically mini games, but a really good side quest builds on the existing story,
And
like
those-
to be really good and memorable.
And those were more of what I was thinking of when I was trying to make my list for the
Yeah.
side quests originally, because I was trying to go back and I was trying to think like through the RPGs I played, because that's where I really wanted to get like my number 1 from.
Right. What? Just an RPG?
Like an RPG,
Sure.
of like
That's
Dragon
probably where you'll
Age
find
or
it,
something
too.
like that. Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
that's
Because those
where
are going to
you'll-
have the
that's where
really
it'll
in
lie.
depth.
Yeah.
Those are going to have the
Absolutely.
really in depth side quests. But yeah, so like I was thinking of something from like Saints Row the Third. This one that's like
Oh, that's interesting. Saints Row. Wow.
Professor Genki's. Damn it! I just had it written down.
It's not in your book
No,
that I can't,
where did I?
can never decipher.
So, I like that you're talking about Saints Row, because that's a game that I love. I played the first one, and I think the second one. I stopped playing them after that.
The
but
third
that-
one was awesome.
dude,
the
I
first
was
time
I-
I've ever heard these words from
I know.
either of you.
I was so excited to play Saints Row when it was coming out. I was, even though I was a Grand Theft Auto fan, because they're very similar. They have
It is similar, but Saints Row
it's
is
different
crazier.
enough. It's different enough that warrant both to exist. But Saints Row does, and so does Grand Theft Auto, have a fair amount of, I guess, side missions, if you
Yeah.
can call them, that don't pertain to like taking over other gangs.
So the one that I thought of though that I really liked was Professor Genki's Super Ethical Reality Climax.
Sounds interesting.
Basically,
does.
Professor Genki in this is like this cat creature dude, and so this is like a game show you go on. It's like a maze and it has traps in it, and you'll be attacked by people who are in like ridiculous mascot costumes, and you just hose them down.
Oh, that's nice.
But you don't get like
I see a theme evolving in Jerrett's favorite
But it's-
thing.
Seriously.
But what was funny about it, I mean, that's all of Saints Row. Like it's
It's
massive mayhem.
It's a cartoon. It's
It
even
is.
more cartoonish than Grand
I
Theft
feel like
Auto.
I have
Way
never
more
even
cartoonish.
seen.
You
Like
should
I
go
can't even picture what
It's
you're talking
so
about.
colorful.
You should
and,
go
like,
look it up.
Is it?
It's
pretty
ridiculous.
colorful.
When I hear the word Saints Row, I immediately think of like black and white. I don't know why.
No,
it's-
but like
it's
so,
like-
but then what made this funny is it's like there are these announcers like giving play by play of what's happening, and all this stuff, and so it's just super like crazy and stupid.
It's silly. It's
super
that,
silly.
That game got, I don't know if third or what is there 4 of them?
Fourth
There's one
one
with
just
like
came out.
aliens
And
and,
they-
stuff. It gets really
It's so
wacko.
weird.
But they had to do it as like and I know we're getting off topic, but I feel like they had to do it as like just a marketing.
just to say something different.
yeah,
than,
it's
be
like
different
we
than
are not
Grand Theft Auto.
We're going to take it in this direction.
I knew
it changed. Very
I knew it
drastically.
wasn't the same as Grand Theft Auto. When you have the option to just be your character can just be naked.
Yeah.
Private parts are blurred or pixelated
you're
out,
naked.
but you can just be naked.
Yeah.
I made my dude this incredibly like roided out buff dude
Wrote it out.
with a British accent. It was ridiculous. It was just super funny. And he ran like he was super muscled up, and like maxed out every physical
Just
characteristic to the max.
Learn new
So
things
funny.
about Jarrett every day.
Every episode,
I love
something
it.
else comes
I
out.
love a
It's
big
just
roided
another
out man.
layer of the onion.
Well, okay, but let me ask you guys then, as a more overall, question, how, like Becky said, or is it Becca?
Becca.
Excuse me, Becky. Becca.
Oh my god!
Excuse me, William. How do you guys approach these games then? If you're playing an open world game like this that has a lot of side quests, then do you wait to do those? Do you do them as they come, or do you take on the main quest? And
Honestly, for me, I have the annoying habit, and it's annoying to myself, of wanting to make a game like that because I'm like, I paid $60 for this. I'm going to make it last.
Right.
And so I'll drag it out to no end. So I will play like a story mission and then go do like 10 side quests or side activities. I'm currently doing that with like Far Cry Primal right now.
Because you're
Far
trying
Cry
to-
Primal is out and I love it.
because you're trying to drag out the main storyline.
Yeah, because I want to be in the game longer. But the problem to that is I do have the tendency, and this has happened to me several times. Like I remember it happened to me with Assassin's Creed 3. I the game wound up taking like a year to play because I would get distracted. I would get tired of it because I was doing so many of the side quests. And I would be like, I'm going to take a break from this and go play other things now. And then I would never get back to it. And then by the time I did, the main story, I was like, what's happening?
Right. See, that's something that has occurred to me in Fallout 4 because I've been playing Fallout 4 a lot, and I did play it a lot. And I was going through the main mission pretty like rigid. I was like doing just that and that only. But I got so sidetracked by so many side quests, and the side quests are just as elaborate as the main quest. Or at least some of them are, and some of them can be really time consuming. And I was like, what am I supposed to do actually to
like
find my son?
You play so many side quests that
totally
you forget what you're doing in the regular game.
All of a sudden I'm like the king of some guild. Like this is my new, job now.
This is the game.
The ending of Assassin's Creed 3 happened, and like I killed the bad guy, and I was like, why am I?
Yeah,
why
you
do I
lose
not like him
that
again?
motivation. So at one sense, having these open world games and giving you choices like that is wonderful. It's like really cool. It's like I love it.
It's my
too.
favorite kind of game.
However, there's an emotional value that can be lost that other games that keep you on the campaign might actually have. Games that keep you on the campaign,
like a first-person shooter,
keep you in the story. Yeah, like a first-person shooter, and like Zelda does it. I mean, anything else kind of can keep you within the realms of the story. So to have these side quests, even though it's by option, it can take you out of it. Like when I think about Fallout, Oblivion, Skyrim, I don't think of the story. I think of just doing things and how exciting that was to just do things. It's just very different types of games, I guess.
Yeah, they are. And so, yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I go about it but no, I'm trying to be better. Like in the 2 days since Far Cry Primal has come out, and I've spent a few hours playing that. And
how's that going?
Oh my God, it's so fun. I love it so much. I love it so much. It's got a 2 thumbs up from
so
Jerrett,
far. There's our first
Jerrett
review
Wilson.
of the podcast.
Very brief, 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs
Two
up.
thumbs
End of
up,
story.
which is a very cliched review. But
no supporting arguments.
Yeah.
It's awesome because it's. I mean, I won't get into it right now, but you should play it. But that's how I'm trying to be more with it. I'm going to try to actually beat the game faster and play it for 2 reasons. One, I want to experience it and get through the story and have it all build up. 2, I have a lot more of the things I need to play.
Yeah,
so I'm trying to get through it and not have another game that takes me a year to play.
I would say I'm probably more along Jerrett's lines, but really I'm any game that has extensive side quests, that's why I'm playing it. And especially games like Tomb Raider, games like The Legend of Zelda, they have tons. Games like Okami, tons of side quests. Yep. And I find that I never want the game to end intentionally. So I'm like, what can I do to not get to the end of the game? And I will just drag on and on. I'm exactly the same.
Yes.
I will do everything else before I finally run out of options. And I have to go to the next level. Yep. Anything else to not progress because I don't want the game to be over. And it's like, I actually have quite a few games that I've never finished because I'm like, well, I haven't finished the impossible side quest that I've been stuck on for 6 years. So I guess I'll just never finish that game because in my mentality, you can't finish the game unless you've finished everything else.
Yeah, and for me too, I've kind of gotten more into I'm trying. Before I didn't really used to care about getting trophies or achievements and stuff like that, but now I am getting more of a drive to be like, okay, I want to get one of my gaming resolutions for this year was to platinum 3 games, that's for PlayStation. You get all the trophies and you get a cool little platinum one. And I've only done that with 1 game, and that was the Shadow of Mordor, Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, which was a fun game too.
I thought you had done it for The Last of Us.
That's a goal.
Didn't you get super close? Aren't you like a couple things away?
Yeah.
From Last of Us?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No, really?
No. So, because, I got a few trophies and stuff when I played through it on the PS3, but now I have it for the PS4, and I don't want to go back and play it on the PS3 because it looks cleaner and prettier and all that jazz on the PS4, so I'm going to try to do it on there. I'm trying to get through it, so that's another one of my gaming resolutions for this year was to get through The Last of Us. And so for that one, I am taking a more, and it's not, it's kind of open world, but I'm taking a more systematic approach to that game. And I am taking a systematic approach to Far Cry Primal because I'm going to try to platinum that one too. And just being okay, so I'll play for a while and I'll go back and check the trophy status and be like, okay, so I need to be doing this. Okay, so sometimes instead of doing a side quest or doing the main mission, I'm reaching towards accomplishing one of the trophies. or something like that. So in a way, the trophies are almost a side quest for me.
Yeah, that's like something that you've not that you've created, but you've chosen to play a game that way. You know, like I will take on this challenge that kind of exists outside the game in a way. But I'd say I'm somewhere in between because I actually, as I'm doing side quests, and I'm thinking about Fallout 4, and I'm thinking about Oblivion and Skyrim. Those are probably the 3 games that have the most side quests that I've played.
Yeah,
and I get very antsy about getting back to the main quest. I know I kind of talked about Fallout 4 just like 2 seconds ago, but I was like, I do feel as though I need to see that main quest sort of completed before I even feel like I should go into the side quest. There's something about like I'll save the side quests for later unless there's some sort of like unless they're poignant to the story at hand. But you really, I guess you wouldn't know that. It's iffy. It's because when I'm playing around the game, I do love running into the randomness that can occur through these quests. It makes it obviously gives these games an immense amount of depth and like believability. I think that's one of the best things about having side quests in these open worlds is like things are existing and they're there, and if you can find them, like they don't like they're not drawing you to it, so to speak. They just exist in and of themselves. Like I'm thinking about one from Skyrim, and then I was going to put this as on my list. It's like you find a haunted house. And this this quest wouldn't exist if you did X, Y, and Z beforehand. So some people ran into it and some people didn't.
So it's like a permanently missable thing.
It can.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah, you can miss it, and once you miss it, you miss it. But it did exist for some people.
Awesome. Right.
And you basically go to this house, and it's such a great little side mission. This guy's like, hey, could you help me go into this house? Something weird's going on. And you go in there, and like, immediately this
what a suspicious invitation for starters.
He's like, I need some help, and that's what Skyrim's all about. You just help people, and you're like, yeah, sure. And you go into this house, and like the books and everything starts floating. It's like this demon voice comes on, and all the doors lock, and he's like, I
would play that entire game, just that
it's
game,
fun,
just the house.
Well, that it's a great little side, and I love these. It puts you in a little dilemma because it puts you these 2 guys in a house, one of them's you, and you have to really decide like either this guy's going to kill you or you have to kill this guy based on this like demonic voices, like kill this man or you will die, and so you do kill him obviously. And then you go down.
As you would do.
As you would do.
Did you try to like bargain your way out first?
Well, the guy comes at you first. He's like, oh no, like I have to do something. So you're really just defending yourself at this point. But once you go down and talk to this Daedra demon god, he's like, go find this priest, bring him here. I'm going to capture him, and he's going to like bow down to me. You're like, okay. Like you totally just do it. Or you can say no and like not do it. But most people will be like, yeah, it's okay, I'll do that.
I'll do that.
And so you go find him. Bring it. It's a bizarre like little scenario that has nothing really to do with the main storyline.
How do you trick the priest into going with you?
You talk to him at this place and you tell him that like you trick him. You can either bribe him with like 270 pieces of gold, or you can tell him that this is for the god that you believe in, which is I forget the name of the god, but there's like Daedra gods and there's like good gods in the whole Tamriel world. And you bring him back. The demon god like captures him, and then you essentially have to like beat him into submission and kill him in front of this demon god who's just watching. Yeah, and he's like, good job, you did a very good job. Here's like this crazy good mace. And you're like, thank you. And he's like, whenever you kill somebody, know that I'm watching.
Oh my god.
And you're like, wow. And then you leave and you're like, well, what was I doing again? Like what was why am I here?
So I just got reminded of another one talking about that, of just like some random things. And this one's from Red Dead Redemption, actually, which similar in the vein of Grand Theft Auto, since they're both Rockstar. There are some
Red Dead Redemption that does have a fair amount of
that one has a lot of side quests. And now as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh wait,
yeah.
So that might be where my number 1 comes from. Yeah. I'll have to think about it and go back through some of those side quests. That's a game I want to replay at some point. But in this one mission, and it's a total side quest, and so that's what I was saying. Rockstar Games has really good. If you just meet these they're really good at introducing really odd characters, or like having these weird people. Well, like in Grand Theft Auto 5, all of Trevor's group,
friends,
all his gang, they're
very memorable.
They're so weird.
Yeah,
they're so weird.
Yes.
Like the Wade guy, who's all like tatted and looks like a member of Insane Clown Posse, and he's like, why Trevor? And like all this, it's like, what is this? It's so weird.
Rockstar is good about creating those.
So that's where one of these side quests from Red Dead Redemption comes into play. You go up to this cabin, or you just like ride by this cabin, and this old man on outside of it stands, and he's like, "Hey, sir, can you come over here?" And
Probably
you're
a
like,
trap.
and you're like,
Yeah.
what, that happens a lot
It does
in
happen
Red Dead
a lot,
Redemption.
I know.
And so you're like, what the hell? I'll go over and say hi because I'm a nice man. And so you go over and talk to him, and he basically tells you that he's wanting to get some flowers for his wife and all that stuff, but he's old and it's hard for him to get around, and he would just love it if you would go get flowers for his wife.
That sounds like the biggest trap.
And so you're just like,
history.
okay, I'll go do that. And he's like, I'll give you something for your trouble. Don't worry about it. And you're like, all right, cool. And so you go and you like ride around, you find some of these flowers and you bring it back to him. And he's just like, and then he's like, oh, thank you, young man. You know, my wife would love to say thank you. And so you follow him into the cabin. His wife is dead, sitting in a chair.
Oh, interesting.
And like a mummified corpse
he's
almost.
crazy.
He's crazy.
He's a crazy man.
It's like Norman Bates from Psycho, right?
Seriously,
and
yeah.
And you're just like, what is happening? And then you have the option then to be like, this fool's crazy. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him.
I'm going to put him out of his misery.
Yeah, you have that option, or you can just be like, whatever, man, I'm out. and slowly back away and never go to his cabin again. But no, so that was
What'd you do?
I think I just left.
You killed him.
No, I just left.
Be honest,
I normally I try and again
And be good.
I try to be good. I try to be bad.
I
try to be bad.
But the guilt.
But the guilt, exactly. I'm just
try-
like, I don't know.
Right. I try to be good as well. In Fallout 4, I've had so many difficult conundrums where it's very difficult to be good. And it's and like because you are in the wasteland, Mogan, and because these people have given up all humanity, you almost are forced to be bad. And there was one side mission I remember where you have to rescue a super mutant actually you're rescuing a guy from the top of a tower, and there's a super mutant with who are these people that become like radioactive, and they're like super aggressive and
Do they
strong.
still look human, or are they mutated?
They're just big green. They look like the Hulk, you know? So they look like a big humanoid. And I rescue this guy, and people that know this mission it's not like, I'm pretty sure it technically qualifies as a side mission, but you rescue this guy, and he's just an asshole the whole time. He's just like, oh, finally, like someone came and saved me, and you're like, oh, like I've never ran into anybody like this. I've all my questing. Usually, everyone's very happy that like I come and save them.
Yeah.
And you eventually get him outside, and Strong, who is kind of ironically really nice, and like actually becomes your friend, and you can use him as a sidekick in a lot of your missions. The other guy's like, thanks, and he quotes Shakespeare, and he's really pompous, and he's just an asshole. Anyways, you go on your merry way, and he doesn't give you anything, which I'm used to. I run into him again, and this is a random thing, and maybe it's happened to people that have played Fallout or not, but he's doing a radio show out in the middle of nowhere. And the radio, like, it's very bizarre. Like, radio shows still exist. Like, they've rebuilt society in a very, like, different kind of, like, shitty way. I know we talked about, like, yo, this is your home. Like, this is all you've done. It's fine. This is my beautiful tin box. It's like, this is as good as it gets. But I ran into him. And it's just, it like almost like hurts me to say this, but I ran into him and his family, and
oh my God.
I wiped them out.
Oh my God.
Well, and I feel bad about it because I was like, no, I've been a bad, like that made me I've been a bad decision. But they had a lot of great loot. And
my God, you killed them
and I'm
for
just
money.
telling you, when you get in the wasteland, and after many days there, you realize this is the way of the law, and that guy was an asshole to me.
Oh my God.
I'll never.
I'm with
That's
you.
one of my more memorable things that's happened in Fallout.
So
it was horrible. I don't condone stuff like that, but I'm just saying it happened.
I'm just saying I just killed this guy's
and
whole
I'm just
family.
saying he should have given me something for saving
Oh my
him.
God.
He should have. It's a very rough world. It's a
rough world.
dog eat dog world out there.
Especially in that scenario.
Yeah. So I had a similar thing with at the beginning of Fallout 3
Shame on me. I know.
when I'm when I'm escaping the vault, and the overseer is he? Oh man, what's he doing? Is he attacking his
Is this Fallout 4?
3?
Oh, 3.
His daughter. He's like he's either like threatening his daughter or interrogating his daughter, who you're sweet on. You know, you can tell
then
since,
definitely kill
since
him.
kids. And you
That's warranted much more than
different.
And
That's
that's
fine.
me. Come
and
on.
that's what I was like. I ran in there. I'm like, my boo's in trouble. I gotta go save her. And
got
so
to.
I run in there, kill
Boo's in trouble.
kill him, and then she's still like, "Why'd you kill my dad? I don't want to speak to you again."
God.
I'm like,
That's her
God.
dad?
I'm like, why would you do that?
Well, at least you didn't kill him for money.
Well,
And then, I guess I could have just
bad
straight up just
reasons.
killed her then at that point and been like, well, screw
Jesus.
you. I did this for you.
Well, these side quests, I guess what we're saying, they can bring out different modes that normally wouldn't come out in the main mission.
Right.
You know, they kind of...
Right. They don't have a lasting impact on the
They
main
don't
story.
have exactly. So it can bring out your true colors as that character in the game.
Are those your true colors?
Those are not my true colors. That was just
that
a
is
thing
some
that
concerning
happened. And I was like, oh,
information.
here he is again.
If we have nice things, Mogan, we just need to give them
Yes.
to Zach.
I guess so.
I saved before
I
I went
should've
in there. I
stuck
was like,
with my
maybe I'll
crap
regret this.
phone.
But I knew it. I was like, well, there he is.
Oh my god.
We meet again.
So was it just a random event that you ran into him again?
I believe so. I mean, it was just I was walking through a field and I went into this building and like I saw these nice people there. I'm like, oh, how's it going? Then he turns around the corner. I'm like, oh. Wait a minute.
Hold up. I need to go see why my dog is barking like a mad dog. All right.
Is it the weight of
Fender,
all that
lay down.
guilt?
Don't tell me you never played like a Skyrim. You played Skyrim?
No.
Any other RPG, and you save, and then you just kill everybody in the city. Yeah, you're just like, what would happen?
Fender, lay down.
That
Come
guy
here.
deserved it.
Oh my god.
No,
It was hard to save him.
I get what you're
I
saying.
lost a lot of ammo. I lost a lot of time. I lost a lot of money. He owed me in one payment in his life.
In his family's lives. You should-
That was the hard part. But I was like, yeah,
Yeah. He should have given it to you.
thank you, Jerrett.
He should.
We would do well in the wasteland. Mogan, I don't know how
I would
long.
not-
I don't know
I
how
would-
long you'd last.
I would have killed myself to save
Maybe
other
that should
people.
be an option when you get out of the
I
vault.
would have been like, no,
You should just walk out. You can just be like,
Take own life.
game over.
nah.
Oh, yeah, the credits roll.
My version of the game of life is very short.
So have you beat Fallout 4 yet?
Are we back in the podcast?
I was about to say, what were we talking
Yeah, we're
about?
back in the podcast
Okay.
now.
Have I beat Fallout 4 yet? Technically, no, I have not.
Okay.
And that's because I've done so many side quests. At least I would argue that. What I'm basically
That's why I haven't beat Grand Theft Auto 5 yet, and I've had it for like a year.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto 5, there are a fair amount of side quests, but it's a little bit more narrow. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
it's like a game like Oblivion, Skyrim, or Fallout where it's so open world you can do anything. I feel like Grand Theft Auto has somewhat of a narrow path. And maybe, honestly, that might be what I prefer in these side quest games with side quests.
Like mini game kind of things.
No. Like, I'm just thinking, like what I was talking about before, I do think you lose some emotional attachment to the game if you are doing so many side
Because
quests.
a lot,
Yeah.
well,
Though they're so cool and it makes the game what it is. You know, I
Right.
think it's a balance that I think's just hard to strike.
see, I think like going back to Becca's question of do I finish the game or do I do all these side quests? I feel like Xenoblade, I haven't actually played it, but Xenoblade, I think it has a similar feel to the Final Fantasy games. They don't share the same gaming mechanics, but Final Fantasy is notorious for 1,000,000,001 side quests. But the thing is, they always give you very, very good, very useful things, or things that you actually need, like things that you need to progress in the game. And if you can't get through it, that kind of sucks for you. So it's like,
Yeah.
well, do I do all these side quests to get the best weapons or the best items in the game to make the final boss easier on me, or do I bypass them and just grit my teeth later?
I like that. I like that idea.
Because a lot of, like, especially Final Fantasy X is the one I'm thinking of. There's this, I don't even know. I'm not even sure you can call it a side quest. It could have been its own game where each of the characters in your party has the ability to get their ultimate weapon. You don't have to get their ultimate weapons, but they're the best weapons in the game. But the thing is, you have to get an item just to be able to get the special weapons. Then once you actually get each person's different weapon, you have to get a crest. Then, after you get the crest, you have to get the sigil for each of the ultimate weapons. And
damn.
all of these is attached to extremely time-intensive or annoying or just really obscure things that you do in the game. So they're things that are very easily missable, or things that you could go, oh, I don't need to do that. I already played the minigame. I beat it once. Oh, but did you know you have to beat it 3 times in a row and get 0 time on the chocobo
Yeah, so you
race
would
to
never
get?
know that.
It's
How would
things
you
that I
ever
don't know.
know
I don't
that?
know how people would know these things
Yeah.
without cheating, without a strategy
Right.
guide. So it's
Cheaters.
like what Becca's talking about. Is it worth it? Is it worth it to do all of this side work, or do I just want to finish the game?
It depends how you do it. You know, some games I think do it better than others.
Some games require you do all the side quests. Like Shadow of Mordor required you did all the side quests to get the platinum
Yeah.
because you had to finish. It kept it kind of easy though because it had like 3. There were like these legendary weapon things like a bow, a sword, and a dagger, and each one had like 12 missions to it. And so, and that was one of the trophies. Finish all the sword quest, sort of Undulin or Undils, whatever. Finish all those quests. Finish the bow. Finish the dagger. But like you had to do that to be able to get 100% completion on the game and to get the platinum trophy. So it just depends on the game. Normally with some Far Cry games, they always have some kind of collectible. Like Far Cry 3 has like these statues or like little like idol things you can find throughout the island, and then some other different collectibles. Far Cry 4 has like these letters of explorers that you can find. They're called like blast.
I was about to say that sounds cool.
Well, things like these Easter eggs sort of ideas that like I'm all for stuff like that. I mean, I'm all for side quests as well.
No, I am too. But like with Far Cry 3, one of the trophies was you had to find all these like collectibles, and there were like 120 of them.
Yeah.
And I was like,
well, that's like the green stars in Mario Galaxy, which is fun and exciting and cool, but at the same time, it's hard to justify it. I almost need that extra motivation that pertains to the story.
I did not need any extra. I was like, sweet,
right? It gives
more
you something
for
else
me
to do,
because that meant the game wasn't over.
But you're essentially just going back through the same levels you've already done and just looking in that one corner that you didn't have to look in. It's not like it really incorporates a new section of the map in a very interesting way. Maybe sometimes it does, but for the most part, I feel like that's what Metal Gear Solid right now. It's like I'm having to go back, or I did have to go back. In order to beat the campaign, you essentially had to go back and do other levels on a higher difficulty. And I was like, this doesn't feel like a new mission, though they would call it a new mission.
Right.
It's the same mission, and it's like, I feel a little cheated. It was something, it felt tedious.
Yeah.
I didn't like to have to go through that.
And I don't know if it's like a backlash or something like that, but each Far Cry game since 3 has, there's 2, but since 3 technically. But like, so Far Cry 3, it was like, you have to find all 120 of these. You have to find all of these. But then in Far Cry 4, you had to find all the lost letters. There were like 10. And then you had to find like a certain number of some of the other collectibles and things like that. But you didn't have to find them all. You could find them all to get 100% completion, but it wasn't
Which is different.
It wasn't tied to a trophy. In Primal, you have to find, there are like 3 different types of collectible you can find. And you just have to find 80. To get the trophy.
Now, did it feel tedious? Or were you like, oh, this is actually helping me understand / explore the game?
I mean, it helps me explore the game. It doesn't, it gives you, and now they've started like, if you find this many, you'll get a certain reward, like a XP boost or money, although Far Cry Primal doesn't have money.
But the side quest,
there was some reward tied to it. In Far Cry 4, like it would unlock a weapon if you found a certain.
See, now that's kind of interesting. But the side quests I think that we all love the most are the ones that have their own characters within them, and like it's like a little mini story that occur. You know, and like I said before, the ones I'm mainly thinking of from like Oblivion and Skyrim.
Yeah, Dragon Age has excellent side quests.
Right, and even if they don't directly pertain to the story, it's like if they can do their own, like some are a lot more memorable than others. But if they can do it, and they do it well, that's actually feels worth it to me.
Yeah.
In a big way, even if it's just immersing me more in the world and giving me something to do, because like I said, I need that like motivation to do something, even if it is something awful, like for some Daedra prince, then that I have to like go find a priest. Yeah, and I tell you what happens a lot of times. I wonder if this happens to you. I will be walking around about to do a mission, and I'll run into somebody that needs to do a side quest, he needs something done for him. I've already done it. Has it ever happened to you?
Yeah.
I already have this item that I've taken. I've like stolen already. And he's like, I'm looking for this specific ring. And then like I talked to him again. I'm like, here you go. He's like, that must have been hard, because I can't process
that is always funny. Man, you did a lot for me right now. Yeah. And she's like, nah, it was no big deal. I just said, what's up, man?
There you go. Yeah. So that's actually happened to me quite a few times. Yeah. In which I always think is kind of funny.
I've done similar things, but where I didn't actually realize I had the item, and so I freaking go there to try to get the goddamn.
Let me look in my inventory.
I'm like, I had it the whole time. It's just, like those are the things that make me rage quit. Where I'm like, I fucking did all of this extra that I had already done.
I'm done for the day.
I'm just done. We're just done.
No
and then
more.
sometimes out of spite, I won't even give them the stuff.
Yep.
I'm like, what? They don't deserve it. I'm just keeping it.
I could find this useful to me later.
Elder Scrolls is great. It's like once you get the side mission, a little menu will just pop up briefly and says, go here to do this. So if you already have it, it'll say, go here to do this and go away. Then it's like, return this to them. So it's like, I must already have it. So that's kind of nice.
That is nice. I was going to say, what was the other thing? kind of what you were talking about, Mogan, with the like in the Final Fantasy of like all the, and like finding all these things and like getting the extra things, and is it worth the time or whatever to go do this to collect this certain loot to fight that will help you later and stuff like that. Dragon Age does that pretty well, and I haven't played Oblivion and Skyrim as much, so I don't know if it does it too.
I'm sure it's
but
similar.
like you'll like randomly, would you classify like when you're playing a game and you randomly come across a locked door,
Oh my
and
god!
then it's
I
like
have to
you have
get
to
in.
find the key somewhere? Is that a side quest?
Yes.
Like, it's not like a certain thing where it's like you had to start it. Like, you
Right.
would go to this person to start this thing. You're just like, this door, it's locked. And then you're
Right.
just like, through exploring, you'd be like, oh, I found
Sure,
this dungeon key.
Sure, yeah. That's
I
like
bet this unlocks that door.
yeah, that's like somewhere in between like the Easter egg hunt and the side quest
Yeah.
thing, because that happens a lot in like Oblivion and Skyrim. It's you'll go into a cave and it's not like it says, are you ready to start this cave? You just go
Right.
into it, and lo and behold, there's people here and there's like things occurring, and
people and things.
people and
Descriptive.
things. There's all these wonderful things, and half the time it is just enemies. You will get some loot from it, but
Right.
the other half, there is something more important, or there is someone that you meet. So, but it never says go here. It's something that you stumble upon on your own journey, and that's obviously, I think, the point of a lot of these side quests is like, let's just have these scattered throughout the map. If they hit them, they hit them, and that's a testament to developers to like.
I was gonna say I would want
Yeah.
that to be my job,
That'd
like
be-
just side quest guy.
And they'll tell you, Mogan, no one might ever go to your cave.
I know,
it's
they might
possible.
not.
No one may ever go there, but that's
I would
risk
feel
that
so
you have to
jaded
take.
as a developer. I'd be like, I made this fantastic thing, and I don't think anybody's found it yet.
anyone's
Just
gonna go there.
check it online. No one's talking about my damn cave.
Always on the
You guys
forums.
should go
like,
here.
it's not showing up in the fan walkthroughs yet.
It's not in the wikis.
Right, you can tell some are more like
Should I write the own
impressive
wiki
than others.
article?
Maybe
Yeah.
I should drop some hints, but
Right.
nobody knows it's me.
Yeah.
But kudos to developers for incorporating all this stuff to make it optional.
Because that's what, yeah, for making it optional and stuff. And especially, like, I play some of these open world games and RPGs, and I just have no idea. I cannot wrap my head around, A, why would you think to do that this way? B, how the hell do you design
Right.
this huge world and have different areas that all look different with changing weather? How do you program in, and this is just coming from pure ignorance of coding and development and all that and programming in general, but just like, how do you program in that like this group of people are going to be walking through here? Like,
Sure.
like just because I'm playing right now Far Cry Primal, like you run across like your enemies just willy-nilly. Like you just be, I've been saying that word to Sam lately. Willy-nilly.
Willy-nilly.
But it's just like you'll be walking and then you just run into a group of enemy troops, or like all the wildlife that attacks you in Far Cry. What, like what you're saying, like hats off, because man, I don't even know how
and
you.
almost, go ahead, Mogan.
No, I was just going to say, so then to make all of this and then make additional non-necessary content on top of that.
Right,
Yeah.
which
It's like, holy
exists.
crap.
Like the things in Grand Theft Auto or Red Redemption, where you're just walking along and you go by somebody, they're like, "Excuse me, I need help."
Yeah, which are very fun. Like a little exclamation point
I love-
appears on
I
your
love
map.
those
Yeah,
things.
those are always very fun. Usually they're kind of like there's always a twist or something.
I like
you
the one
know?
I just ran across one in Grand Theft Auto where I was just walking along and the girl runs out and she's like, "Come help me, please!" And you follow her and like these gangsters jump you in the
Right,
alley.
yeah,
and
it's
you're
always
like,
a trick.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
So, like,
I'm
busting
equipped
caps.
with every gun known to man.
Yeah,
That's how it feels in
You
Grand
get-
Theft Auto.
they picked the wrong guy.
They always do. They always do.
come here, Fender. Lay down. So yeah, I don't know. I hope that answered your question, Becca. It seems like the general consensus of us is that yes, we just play them as we come to them. Really,
Well, okay, but then you can even take it to a step further. You let's think about like No Man's Sky, which is a game that obviously isn't released yet, but we know the idea behind it. It's just, and this is I think the main argument that I
is
keep
that whole
harping
game a
back.
side quest?
Right. Well, it's
my
as
kind of
much-
game.
It's just one. It's
We
just
just wanna hear
called
from
side
Mogan
quest. There's no main quest. It's the argument that I keep kind of going back and forth in my head is, as much as I do love side quests and I think they help make the game more immersive, do you lose a value or an emotional response to the story by getting off track and by doing these other things?
I think you do.
I think you do too.
I'm going to say no.
You do think no?
No, Becca, stick it out. Do all the side quests.
No, I'm
You
not
can do
saying
it.
don't do the side quests. I'm just saying games that I've played that didn't have side quests, keep anything that keeps me within the story that I think the programmers wanted me to play feels like side quests I feel like can detract from that story. Like we were talking about when I play Fallout 4, I almost forget what I'm doing and I lose an emotional response to it. Though I love going and doing my own thing.
But I don't think necessarily that's the developer's thought. I think it's our fault.
I was about to say, because I don't have that problem.
That's
like
true.
I've never had that response to a side quest. Like it's so fun for me, and it's just something that I love about every game. I've never thought, no, I don't think I will do this unless it's something that's just flat out impossible and or annoying. I'm definitely going to do it, and it's going to just add to the experience for me. And very, very rarely have I ever felt the side quest detracted from my overall experience.
That's very interesting. See,
I'm
disagree.
really not sure I can think of even one.
I just know there have been enough games that I've played that where it finally got to it, like, I've been playing this long enough, I need to just power through and finish the game.
Right.
Which I like doing that. Like, if I can tell I'm like within the last 3 missions of beating the game, then no side quests. It's all I'm finishing the story.
You guys are both right that it's definitely up to the player how they want to play the game, which therein lies the beauty of side quests because you have the options. Yeah. That's like one of the best points of them. However, I remember games, and I have more emotional attachment to games that didn't have side quests that are just one story, that kept me in that story.
Right,
and so,
like Halo.
Right. Now, but you're saying, even though you did the side quest, you never lost an emotional connection with the main story.
No.
See, that's interesting.
That is interesting.
That is interesting, because I feel like I lose.
I have a list.
I've had responses like Jerrett, where I've found a side quest that was impossible, so I just had to finish the game, but I've always felt disappointed in myself that I couldn't do the side quest. And it's something that I always go back and like, I might try and I'll still fail, but it's like I've never willingly passed over a side quest. It's always just I've hit a wall. I can't do it anymore. If I want to finish the game, I just have to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, maybe it's a testament to the story isn't as good as maybe I'm hoping for. You know, I'm thinking about specifically Fallout, Skyrim, and Oblivion, which I think the stories are fine, but it's almost like for me, like watching a movie and you're like, hey, you can follow this character for 20 minutes and then come back to the main story. I think that's going to take you out of the movie. I think you're going to lose that train of emotional response you were having in the story, in the moment. Now, I don't know. Like that's just my like, you know, like I think about a game like Metal Gear where it's all the main quest, and like I remember that, but we're talking about different games now, I guess. It's complicated because the open world games are open world for a reason. They're supposed to be open world to like bring that world to life.
To give you the choice.
So how about this? My emotional attachment almost lies more in the world in and of itself. Like I do have a strong emotional connection to the world of Skyrim or to the world of Fallout.
I would agree with that because I'm that way with Thedos and Dragon Age.
Yeah, rather than exactly what I'm doing. Like I don't know. I guess part of me doesn't care as much if there's more things to do about one particular thing. I just care about the whole package, which maybe in a way is even grander than one storyline.
Yeah,
you kind of get what I'm saying?
I get it. I agree with that.
Logan's squinting her eyes.
I don't know.
You like
it all depends. It like. You know, I understand where you're coming from, and I feel like I would probably be just like you in that regard if I try, because I had to tell myself at one point, okay, I can only play like one RPG at a time. I've since broken that rule.
I was about to say, I'm not sure I could do that.
Because I have too many that I want to play.
Yeah.
But that was the issue of like having these conflicting things and conflicting story, and all that stuff. And so I tried to do too much at once. But so I'm really interested. I'm really trying now to like really dedicate myself to be like, okay, I'm going to have these games and I'm going to play these 3. Mm-hmm. Once I beat these 3, I'll introduce new ones. But I'm not going to try to. I know at one time I had like 10 games that I was playing through. You know,
so now we're talking.
Not like, you know, but so I think for me, so I'm still kind of trying this out with, you know, of really just like dedicating to a couple games. Like Watch Dogs for me was a good example. That was a game that, yes, it took me a long time to play, but I played through it very regularly. So I never lost that. And as a result, yes, some people pan that game. I liked that game a whole lot. But I can count Assassin's Creed 3, Infamous, and the first Dragon Age. But that was more because I had a lot of I lost saves and had to replay a whole bunch of crap on it, and I got really annoyed with it. But those 3 games stick in my head as ones that by the time it ended, I was kind of like, even though I love Dragon Age, I was kind of like, I don't really remember nor care what's happening right now.
Something that I feel has happened to me more and more, and I don't know if it's a testament to games, the way I'm playing them. I have not had a great emotional response to a game in a long time, but I feel like because I'm missing out on a lot of ones that are more geared towards a a well-developed storyline. Even though, like, as much as I loved Metal Gear Solid and, like, Halo 5 was kind of iffy, it was more so exciting and cinematic to play a game like Metal Gear Solid 5 rather than like a game that we were talking about a couple episodes back that's an online game where it's an RPG and it's people talking. I said Kotaku had a great review. What was that
was
game
it
called?
Her Story?
No, it wasn't Her Story. It was. I think you were talking about it, and you referenced me and Jerrett being the last guys on the internet with beards. Undertale. And so it's like, man, maybe I need to go back, or not, or just go and play a game.
Honestly, if you want,
because Zelda was one of the last games that I really had a huge emotional.
You want to know a game that you're going to have a huge emotional impact to?
Last of Us.
Yes.
Yeah. See,
oh my god.
In a game like that doesn't necessarily have it's just one story.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the biggest ones I think of is Journey. Journey, and it's a short one.
It's one
I still listen
I'm embarrassed
to, the music.
to say I've not played Journey.
You should both be embarrassed about that. Really, anyone should be. Anyone that hasn't played Journey.
That's my point, is like whether or not...
I definitely feel, having played Journey and other games similar to ones that you've played, the emotional impact of Journey can't be compared to a lot of the other games that even I've played. It's a different level.
Sure. And
so
I need
if
to
you're looking
experience
for
that, like, I don't have
a
like
different experience, then those
context.
kinds of games are definitely a better place to start that search.
Right. Well, I guess I'm a little. I wonder why Fallout or even Skyrim didn't have that impact on me. As much as I loved those games, as much as I enjoyed wandering through them.
To be perfectly honest, I think for me at least, some of the games that I have been the most emotionally impressed upon by have been very short.
Yeah, that
I think there's something to be said,
and that's.
I think it is. I think in some degree, too many options. You're gonna
and we,
as we've said, you're gonna spend too much time doing those.
Fact of life, and we talked about that with No Man's Sky when we were talking about, like, just because there's a zillion billion options, does that necessarily mean I'm going to get more out of this game? Like, it's impressive as a technical feat, but
honestly, it depends on how much I'm into the game.
And you can argue, it depends what the player does, which is, appetizing to think about. Like, it's up to me how much I take away from this game.
Yeah.
But maybe people need guidance.
And I was about to say, sometimes the story that the developers made for the game is what you are meant to experience. Like, this is what they wanted you to feel, and if that's the success of the game. If you feel what they built the game to be, that's where that big emotional success comes from.
And that's what I was kind of arguing, that these games that have a lot of side quests that are more open world, it's a package that they're trying to give you rather than one sort of story.
It's more they're selling the world, not the story.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now I kind of get it.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Now that I've talked myself around to your
I'm
point.
sorry, but I'm glad that we're having this conversation, because I think this is kind of poignant to what side quests are and whether or not they actually enhance the game or they can detract it. And I think ultimately having a fair number of side quests, yes, builds a world that's more memorable rather than a story. You get multiple stories, and once you layer on multiple stories, you get a world.
Yep.
One story, though maybe more gripping, less of a world, perhaps.
Yeah,
perhaps.
Well, I think we have talked side quests. I hope we answered your question, Becca. Like I said, it seems that for us and how we handle the game, it really honestly depends on the game itself.
I'm not sure there's been any consensus.
I mean,
it's very open ended.
For me,
I like these games with side quests.
Yeah, I love games with side quests. Open world RPG games are my favorite by far. But I like to take them missions, like mission mixed in with like 3 to 5 side quests, go back to main mission. But
I mean, I think that's like naturally how it happens.
I think so. But yeah,
just depending on where you go.
Yeah. But excellent question, Becca.
Yeah, seriously.
It prompted a lot of debate, which is good. I like this. You look like you have a thought.
That's the whole episode, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. I was like, I'll admit, I was trying to drag that out. I was definitely trying to drag that out into an episode.
No, but it was good because we
I was not like
we brought it around and we came full circle back to our to decide of what to the divisive point of this is. Now I'm losing my train of thought. We came back around into what the differentiator is between story and world, which
is great.
Is
I'm
what
glad
side
we touched
quests,
on that. Yeah,
which is what side quests build towards.
Right.
So I think it was good. All this going around, hitting points, bringing up different games. I think it all led us to the conclusion.
Right.
That side quests help sell the world, not the story. which was probably not at all what Becca was asking.
But I like that she prompted that. And I'm sorry, I was trying to drag that out I was trying to open up the conversation just to different ideas. You know?
No,
But
I
the
agree.
short answer is
That's why we did this episode this way.
the easy answer is a little bit of both. I mean, that's really all that.
What a cop out.
1 hour later,
I'm
Becca,
sorry.
the
Now I
answer
feel
to your-
guilty of going into weird worlds.
the answer to your question, Becca, an hour later is a little bit.
A bit of both.
We could have answered that on Twitter, ironically.
That
Here's
is
4.
Yeah, waiting on that one.
That's really cool.
That is going to be the title of this episode. A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
But anyway, dear listeners, this has been another episode of Team Chat Podcasts. Again, if you have any questions or comments or want to share some of your more memorable side quests with us, please send us an email at teamchatpodcast@gmail.com.
You'll never know what you spawn.
You might get a lot more than you asked for.
You might. Or follow us on Twitter and send us a tweet there. Give us a follow at Team Chat Podcast. Until next time, I am one of your hosts, Jerrett Wilson, joined by Rachel Mogan
Bye-bye.
and Zachary Parks.
Peace out.